Hello, everybody. We're back with more Frozen Frontier. Expedition party. What are you guys doing?
Shitting on WoW.
Yes, yes, we were.
Yeah.
I think Grimes is whimpering while Yaramir rubs ointment on his burned legs. And then I guess we're getting our shit back together and continuing to the salt mine? Or is this the moment where we decide to take matters into our own hands, come up with our own plan?
Both an expert.
Well, I don't think this is where the Yetis are going to be, but we've probably got enough time to get to the salt mine and then check out the Yetis.
Sure, works for me. I am here to make sure you don't die.
How's that going so far?
Well, it could have gone better if I took more fire spells. Tomorrow we shall have more fire spells.
Whoa.
Then tomorrow we'll go mountain climbing, right?
Sounds good.
Anyways. All right, so I guess the expedition, after being slightly derailed by news, gets back on the trail.
All right.
Have we already rolled distance today? I don't think
We
so.
have. This was the second day of movement, yeah.
Okay. So we camp
And give me another roll for the next day's worth of movement.
Are you subtracting, or what's the weather the next day? Are you subtracting rations, Greg?
Yes.
Okay.
It is light the next day. D8 plus 6.
.5. 4 miles.
It's slow going. You know, your legs kind of burned up and everything, and you make 4 miles of progress up the mountainside. God, half movement rate is not. It's not great. You're not meant to be a sled puller, Grimes.
Yeah.
Hey, now I'm doing just fine.
Okay.
Is it
You're
actually?
doing it on an injured leg. I mean, give him some slack, you know?
It's mostly all my own gear. All this warmth gear, plus the sled.
All right. Next day's worth of movement. It is another light day.
Oh, come on. 3.5 miles. No, we're not going to make it to the mine.
No, it's
How
not
long
even
do we
within
have
sight.
before Zaz comes back? Do you remember, Yaramir?
It was about a month.
Okay, so we got time to kill. This is fine.
That day also has no encounters of any note anywhere.
But for those, remember to take your 1 point of HP for the days of travel and no encounter.
So that was only one day. Right, the day after you don't get it back. Or do you? I would
The
get
day
back
after,
the
yeah.
same
Full day.
day
You don't get it the same day,
The day
yeah.
after.
So I gain 2 HP.
2 HP, yeah.
Yeah. There's no sign of anything in the mountain. So Grimes,
It's
throughout
just
all this, is keeping his
still-
eye on those slopes, looking for any tracks or any movement up the mountainside.
It's soft and still, and I guess it's not that still because of the light wind, but there's no signs of life anywhere.
No piercing blue eyes
No, nothing.
peering down at us.
Nothing.
All right, it's like 4 days. I think on day 5 we finally will make it to the salt mine.
The next day is a calm day. The weather, basically, the wind drops out. And
that
it's soft
2d6?
and gentle. 2d6 plus 6.
8.5. So
Oh,
make it to the
wonderful.
salt mine by like midday. And
Yeah,
then maybe we
that's-
can head back down the mountain, or we can see what the deal
About
is
three
up
and a
here.
half miles to the salt mine, and you arrive in the stillness of the mountain air.
I think as soon as we see the entrance, I sort of stop Yarmir and look around for any sign of anything. Has snow piled up inside the entrance?
Give me a perception check. You're at max distance. See if you can make out any details from here. Oh,
32.
yeah. No, you do not see snow piled up in the entrance. It looks exactly the same way it looked before.
No signs of tracks or disturbance in the area.
Nothing.
So I guess we cautiously approach.
The last time, I'm fairly convinced that the last time we purchased mine, that the golem or whatever attacked Ferris because he was like the one that went through or towards the opening.
No. So after reading the journal, I mean, Grimes obviously won't be able to remind you of this, but the voice inside of your 16 intelligence head might remember that the journal mentioned that the golem was programmed to keep non-humans out of the mine, to protect them from gnolls
I
and
don't
things.
think it specifically was meant to be non-humans. I don't think it attacked him because he was an elf. I think it was just keeping things out of the mine, right? And he was the one that like broke the plane.
Threshold.
Well,
I don't believe that the golem was racist, right? That's the joke. But I do want to like get close and kind of like angle to either side of the entrance and look, because there was a little like the golem came out of the side of the wall. I want to know if that indentation is still there. Maybe if it's like filled in, that might be a clue, or if there's like another indentation somewhere else. Like I want to get a good look inside first and see if I can determine the golem's whereabouts.
The hole where it came out is still there,
Okay.
and there are no new ones formed.
Okay. He died kind of outside of the mine, and there's a bit like that's a huge amount of salt, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did the ice kind of ice over that, or has the salt kind of melted away the ice?
You can't find the spot where it's gone.
Okay.
Yeah, it just looks like regular terrain.
Grimes is moving silently towards the entrance.
So I guess I'm healthier than Grimes is at this point. So
What's your HP?
22.
Okay, yeah, just barely. I'm up to 19.
Okay. I go ahead and thumb the kind of amulet in my pocket, and then I cast the shield spell in front of me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll cautiously kind of like make my way, like I'll like kind of reach my hand through the portal, and see if the golem decides to come out and attack.
Nope. Your hand reaches through and everything feels fine. Your fingers feel warm on the other side.
Yeah, so I walk through I'll just like enter and like wait and see, my guard up. Assuming nothing attacks me, I'll kind of turn around and be like, "It looks like we are good. Let's explore this mine since we're here."
Grimes like slips around from his ambushed position just to the side of the mine entrance. And I guess I step in after you.
Yeah. So sorry.
I think Grimes asks, so it seems like this place is still warded.
Yes. I'm not sure exactly how. I thought
you took
perhaps our amulet here might have been powering it, but I kind of like look up and touch the lettering above the cave entrance. Like, perhaps it is something to do with these. Would be interesting to know a way to ward against the cold like this.
You're pointing to the runes?
Yeah, so remember above the entrance of the cave, there were runes in Old Caledonian that we archanologied. And we're not sure, they don't radiate magic, but they're still there. And we pulled out the amulet. We've detected magic like up and down these halls. We've never seen anything, despite like 6 or 7 detect magics being used. So I'm not really sure what's keeping it warm, but I guess we're here. We might as well investigate.
All right.
It seems supernatural, right? It's like as soon as you step through the threshold, it gets warm.
It's like a arc line of heat. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I guess we'll scout out the mine and see if anything's changed since last time we were here.
All right. The first thing you notice is, yes, things have changed since the last time you were here. That little office that's near the front has clearly been ransacked by something. Things are knocked over. It's generally a mess. Some of the wooden walls are broken down. It looks like a bunch of angry kids came in here and messed the place up.
Or kobolds.
Or kobolds, yeah.
Okay. I guess we turn it over. I mean, we had already looted anything valuable here.
Yeah, we looted this place. when I explored this before, it ended in a bunch of dead ends, right? And I asked specifically if there were cave-ins or anything like that, and there wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
We detected magic. We didn't find anything except that amulet. I don't know. I guess Jaromir just will kind of like walk through to see if any of that has changed. If it's all the same, then I don't know. We've exhausted our methods of exploring this place once already.
Okay.
So I guess we search the rest of the mine, head down some of the shafts, spend an hour or so wandering around.
Yeah.
Anything else new, changed?
No, nothing
Has the
else
rest of the mine been disturbed?
There are signs that something has been coming in and around and through here, but it's difficult to really make out what it was. There's tracks, there's clearly damage done, and there's broken implements that were not broken before, but there's nothing particularly interesting going on here.
All right. And I guess we move to leave. And as we're stepping back through the threshold, I stop Jaromir. And I point up to the runes, and I ask, "Do you think we should have a go at translating those?" And I go to remove my ring.
I nod at this and just kind of accept the ring and go about the ritual of translating them. It'll take some time. It's not like an instantaneous translation,
Right.
but yeah, we'll translate them word for word. I only used arcanology on them last time.
DM's like, "Damn, now I need to know what those words say."
Yeah.
Neal desperately scrambling through his notes.
I hope I wrote something down about this before. Uh-oh.
William, I know you're getting old, but hold your shield up, damn it.
Look, Forrest, it's a temporary advantage that you have. Don't get too far ahead of yourself. You know, real
Look,
shit,
I know-
I knock you on your ass.
I know we've only been at this for a few hours. I get it. We've been doing this every day, but you can't be getting tired this early on. You're
Oh, well.
40, not 80.
It doesn't work the same way. I've had an exhausting life. You wouldn't even know. You think this is exhausting, but people, Forrest, are exhausting. I understand why you live out in the middle of nowhere. Just, William, do this. William, do that. William, go and open this jar for me.
Yes, I'm
William.
sure owning your own castle must have been very difficult.
I only just got given the castle the same day they told me I was coming here. You
Where'd you
understand?
live before that?
I just lived
manor?
in a house in the city. Not a manor. A manor maybe to you. You lived in a hut for 30 years or whatever. But no, it's not a manor. It's just a house with my wife
And your
My kids.
servants.
and my servants. Yes.
Your servants.
I was born in a manor, but my parents and my siblings were never kind to me.
Great. I have no idea what the fuck this says. I can give you, if you wait until next week, I can give you a detailed description of what it says that you can delve into for meaning, or I can make something up for fluff that has no meaning behind
No,
it.
it's fine. I kind of figured it was fluff, but yeah, if you don't have notes on it, it's not important.
Okay.
So it's not actually.
No, there's
Magic
something else
runes,
keeping
right?
this warm that we can't find. Like, I walked through every tunnel in here with detect magic, and the only thing we found was the amulet. And the amulet has been taken out of here, but it's still warm. So there's some other effect going on that, like, we can't see. It's probably not magical. It might be like it's like close to like some kind of like natural heating vent, or there's like a gas geyser or something. But I don't know. It feels supernatural to me, but if I can't detect magic, like, we're not gonna find it.
When they were outside, was it like a wall of heat, or was it coming like the
That's the way
inside was
Neal
hot and it was
described
gushing
it.
out like
It's
air,
like there's
hot
a
air?
wall.
There's a
in
literal a threshold that when you cross,
yeah.
it's warm on one side, on the other side it's cool, and it doesn't seem to
And
be any airflow
It's like a
between
stable.
the two.
Okay, yeah.
It's pretty nice here. Do you want to hang out for a couple of days?
Sure.
Guys,
I wouldn't mind a little relaxation.
meant to be looking for yetis. You
There are no yetis to find.
What was that, William? Crash.
Yarmir and Grimes spent like
Sound
a
on your
week
guard.
hanging out in the mines, and then come back and be like, "Oh yeah, we looked for Yetis, guys."
Yeah.
All
We're still
right.
at half the day, so maybe we'll warm up a little bit, and then I'll see if I can find a lookout.
There
Sure.
was when the last time we were here, there was like a little bluff above us that we thought could be used as a lookout.
Yeah, it was there, and we were like chasing gnolls around these parts, weren't we?
Yeah, there were knolls,
I
but
was-
there was one knoll like above us, right? And when you chased it up there, you found like a little bluff that you could see out here really well, but you could also get like a vision like through the rest of the mountain.
Yeah. So after warming up for a few hours, I'll climb for another few hours and see if I can get a view of the surrounding area.
Sure.
I'm not even sure you need to do that. Like we know where that bluff is, right? Like you can just go back to where we were last time and get a good look.
Yeah, it was a fifth of a mile away or something like that.
Something like that, yeah. Far enough that the like whistles were just like not audible.
Yeah, with
Yeah.
the winds and the whistles, and then but close enough that you could still have sight on the area. Okay. So Grimes, you go climb that little ledgy thingy, and look out over the area. You see no yetis, no gnolls, no oozes, no kobolds, no reindeer. For those of you that don't know what caribou are, nothing like that.
Do I see any routes through the mountains, or is this all pretty impassable?
No, it looks pretty rugged for the terrain. Lots of sheer cliffs and like big blocks of ice everywhere. Maybe if you had climbing gear, you could climb along it, like picks and, fancy shoes and everything, which you have, but not like easily passable. Definitely nowhere you could put a sled through.
Okay. Well, I guess we will spend that night in the salt mine
Okay.
and see what the weather holds tomorrow, I guess.
The next day is also a calm day. It's pretty chill. Yeah.
What do you think, Yarmir? Should we go take a look at the Yeti caves?
Sure.
Weather's on our side.
It would be shame not to give William his chance to slaughter yetis.
So I actually think our best bet may be to head back to the coast.
Okay. It is where we found Yeti Cave last time.
Yeah, and it looked like with a little bit of setup, I may be able to set up a crossing along the coast. Like it sounded like it was only a several 100-foot span that was impassable to you guys, if I recall. So
I
maybe-
remember it being a big drop-off where we looked down into the ocean and ice below, and it looked like end of world.
Aye. But with a couple of pittons, we may be able to span that gap. We'll see.
Perhaps.
So I guess I'll roll movement this next day.
Sure.
Going downhill this time.
We didn't penalize them for going uphill, so I'm not going to reward them for going down.
Yeah.
And I think more than anything, it's us like slowing down the sled so that it doesn't go careening down the side of a mountain.
Mm-hmm.
I like
You
the
make
idea of you like having the sled in front of you and you're like holding the rope. You're doing that
Yeah.
like squat walk as
Yeah.
it drags you down.
Exactly.
Honestly, could you ski like that? Could you ski downhill if you had the sled in front of you tugging you?
That
You
sounds
would,
terribly dangerous.
Terrible.
yeah.
I mean, you can move your skis sideways, right, to like not be quite as.
Have you ever been skiing, Sean?
No, I have not.
Okay. All right, that makes more sense.
Never before in my life. But I figured this works, right? It makes sense in my head, so it should translate pretty well to real life.
Well, that is the basis of Dungeons and Dragons. So, all right, you make progress down the hill. There are no encounters, no visible creatures or signs of life anywhere during this period of time.
All right, next day.
Next day.
Oh, is it also calm?
It's a 5, which is calm. Yes, actually.
Okay. Another 5 miles.
Lucky. We'll drag you 5 miles. Yep. Let's gonna flip back to the fort for just a moment because the other party's been gone for 4 days now. Let's See if anything's happening with you guys.
It's really only been 4 days.
4 days
this
since the
was
last
5.
time we checked in with
Okay,
them.
yeah.
Okay,
So
so it's in 6 days total.
Yeah.
So I'm almost at mastery then at that point.
How am I doing, Neal? Am I making any breakthroughs?
Let's not talk about it. It's not
not
looking
going
good
to.
for you. Yeah. No, 3, 4. All right. You guys haven't seen anything, but you're also like in the courtyard of the keep. So if there was like a kobold patrol, like 600 feet away, you wouldn't see them because you're sparring
Right.
and not looking out over the walls. But that also helps because then other things aren't seeing you.
Yeah.
So no encounters for you guys. It is now the 26th of April.
Oh wait,
and-
quick question. Sorry. Does the sparring count as enough fighting so that we're not healing?
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
Aren't you at full?
No. 10. I got damaged by the ghost.
You should have a few back though from when we were traveling around after that.
Yeah, I've got a few back. I'm still 10 off max though.
The next day is a 7 on the weather chart, which is light. So that should be D8 plus 6.
D8 plus 6.
Yep.
Okay. Oops. Need to divide that by 2, so 4.5. Hold on a sec. Let me tell you which route we. We can't make it all the way back to town. I think maybe we should head straight to the Yeti Cave. What do you think, Yarmir? Should we head back to Saltport?
Let's
or-
go to Yeti Cave.
All right. Yeah, I am also enjoying
right.
not having William breathing down our neck. So I think we're just going to skirt the foothills of that mountain.
You do. You leave the trail and begin pushing your way through trees and heading along the mountain ridge. With again no encounters of any kind. It's been a week of lonely walking with just you, the two of you. Yarmer, how are you feeling about this? How do you do with just Grimes around?
Yarmir does about as well with Grimes, I think, as he does anybody else. He's kind of just been a loner for a long time, right? And so he's just awkward and weird with everybody, right? I think Yarmir is that type of person that, like, when you're around him, it just doesn't really matter. He's that same doofy, weird, like, he's in his own little world. Like I'm probably talking to him all the time about like amber and how I need to turn it into powder, and like I'm talking about the weird flows of magic around him, and like just generally probably creeping Grimes the fuck out.
All right, Grimes, how do you
I think
feel
I'm
about
also as
being?
creepy as I am with silence as I am with talking. Like I think I probably small talk at the wrong times, and then like you can try to engage Yarmir with speaking, and then it'll just be like Yarmir's lost in thought somewhere. Like he's equally awkward in like bouts of silence as he is with like long extended like conversation. Just always at the wrong time.
All right. Grimes, how do you feel about being with awkward Yarmir?
Awkward less of an issue. He's a little spooky. So that's always a thing, but I don't know. Yarmir's fine. I kind of let him babble. I don't engage too much. Grimes is rather enjoying, I don't know, being in charge of his own destiny for the first time in a little while. Not having William telling him what to do, where to go. It's sort of fun. And Yarmir seems to be kind of going along for the ride. So I like Grimes is running the show. Like, I guess we'll spend a night in the salt mine. And let's go up to the Yeti Caves.
Yeah, and before this,
Grimes
you were
in
in
charge.
jail for a while, right?
Yeah.
So this is your first real taste of freedom in forever?
And here I am lashed to a sled. Oh, well.
All right. That's the end of that day. The next day is light on the weather chart. It's an 8.
D8 plus 6, right? Or, let's see. 0.5, 3.5, but that'll probably get us where we need to get. Like, well before, like, we'll get to the coast and we'll see what we can see.
You get to the coast where the mountain meets the sea, and it does not look encouraging.
So
These
we saw
mountains
it
come
from
in roughly sheer-ish shape down into frigid waters with waves crashing onto the mountain edges themselves. You feel like you could probably scale across this. You might be able to bring other people with you. You definitely couldn't bring a sled or any heavy equipment unless you had like really cunning use of ropes and levers and pulleys and things.
Yeah. So I guess we parked the sled at the base.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think we've ever been here, have we?
No.
Sorry, go ahead.
You've never seen this before.
So, assuming Grimes is like discussing this out loud, where would we need to put the sled in order to put it in a safe spot to take it with us? Like, could I levitate it up the cliff and set it down? Right? Can I levitate it across the water and set it somewhere? Right? Like, I feel like this is a solvable situation.
Right. So, well, let's take a look. The distance that is impassable is about 3 miles from like solid ground without any mountain to solid ground without any mountain. So 3 miles is kind of a far distance to go here. There might be ledges occasionally that could have some solid ground.
My levitate spell lasts for 50 minutes at a time. Mm-hmm. So I'll have 50 minutes of levitating it where I need to go, right? Or well, it levitates up, but then Grimes have to pull it along.
But if it's levitating, it's frictionless. So
so you could move it with you rather rapidly. So you'd have 50 minutes to move it to a ledge. I could take 3 of those a day, right? Because those are second level spells. Like we could probably make this happen.
I think I'm going to go ahead and scout ahead and see what the rest of this route looks like. So we've only seen it from the other side, but we were able to get the whole party to the Yeti Cave. Although the Yeti Cave was barely on the other.
Yeah, the Yeti Cave wasn't very far from like flat ground. It's probably a few miles from where you're standing right now.
So how far up am I looking at for like the nearest ledge?
You can't see it from where you're standing. You would have to spend some time exploring the mountain range.
Yep, so let's do that. Do we reach here at nightfall, or do I have time that day to explore?
You've got 1/7 of the day left.
Okay, so an hour or 2.
Yeah.
Maybe while Yarmir sets up camp, Grimes will go exploring a bit. I was asking for vertical distances to think about spots to hammer and pittance to like prevent myself from falling off the edge of the world. But
well, let's do some scouting.
Okay.
The next day comes.
That I've got 2 hours that day.
Okay. Sure.
Right.
Give me a climbing check.
So is there nowhere to secure myself? I mean, whatever. I'll just roll a flat climbing check and roll a natural 20. And
dear
it's gonna
God, 45 on your climbing check.
So I think about hammering and pittance to secure myself in case I fall, so I don't die, and then I get impatient and I just free climb up the mountain. Apparently.
All right. You scamper up a path that looks fairly simple and easy, and it turns out to be quite. You scale maybe 200, 300 feet straight up before you find even a semblance of a ledge. But what you do find is not big enough to hold a sled or anything. It's just enough for you to like stand and give your hands a rest and take a look around and maybe like lean against the wall and kind of chill out for a moment.
From there, can I see any other ledges, any passable route north from here, or is...
There's nothing that looks like a walking route, and definitely nothing that looks like a sled route. But, it doesn't look impossible to pass. You feel like a party of trained climbers should be able to do this without too much trouble. A party of untrained climbers could conceivably cross the mountains here. You would just need, a lot of rope, because it doesn't look like there's going to be many or any places to stop. So it would be a lot of, like, going forward, waiting for everyone to catch up, going forward, waiting for everyone to catch up.
Yeah. So from the other side, there was like a ledge that tracked along the edge for a ways. There's nothing like that from this end?
Just a few hundred feet. No.
Okay. So I'm like 300 feet up?
Yeah.
Do I want to secure this to make it easier to climb next time?
How fast can you climb from one side to the other?
The 3 miles, you mean?
Yeah.
we don't have rules for that, as far as I know. But I'd imagine that would.
I don't think you can climb at 3 miles an hour, or 3.5 miles an hour, which is what you would roughly need to pull the sled across in that amount of time, right?
Yeah, let's see. The way you've got movement, so if it's wet or loose, movement speed is 3 times my height per minute.
But that's going up or down, not so much side to side, you know?
Is it different? You don't have rules, so you just
There are no rules for that, yeah. But people walk at roughly 3 or 4 miles per hour, and your climbing speed is not going to be anywhere near your walking speed.
Mm-hmm. So what, like 1 mile an hour? Half a mile an hour?
Something like that, maybe. Does it matter
So
though? Because it
so
doesn't.
non-committal.
Yeah.
Alright, so this is getting ridiculous. However, I want to point out, what if I sat on the sled, cast levitate on
Yeah.
it, and then in 50 minutes cast levitate again?
Yeah, and just like tie you to my waist.
along with the sled?
If you have enough levitates, you could conceive that might work. It could be your flying carpet.
Is there what's the weight limit on levitate?
I don't know.
100 pounds per level of the caster.
It's like, yeah, I think it gets pretty big.
Yeah,
have
so it's 500 pounds for you right now.
Goodness. This is getting ridiculous. Is that really where we're going? With, like have the whole party levitated on the sled, tied to Grimes' waist, and
I think we need a
Just
few
tug
more
you along.
levels for the whole party.
That
If we do
might
that, we
work.
have to sing like the Aladdin song.
That might work, yeah.
I can show you the world. I can't do a Yaramir accent. All right. Okay. I'll climb back down and rejoin Yaramir. Looks bleak. There's a ledge a couple hundred feet up, but it looks like it's going to be a climb for the next couple of miles.
Did you see any caves or anything that might pique William's interest?
No. If you want, tomorrow I can climb in and see what's going on with the Yeti cave. Grimes says with some apprehension.
I don't really care. I just wanted to make sure we didn't have one person wandering alone out here. Seemed like a bad idea.
Well,
It seems to me Yetis are quarry we don't need. I would like to get a hold of their eyes again, but going all the way to where we were before seemed like such hassle.
we can go to the next day, camped here at the base of the mountains. You are very near to the fort, about
What's the
3.5
weather?
miles. It is another light day, 7 on the weather table.
What do you think, Yaramir? Shall I scout ahead for Yetis, or should we just call it and head back to Saltport?
I think we have looked as much as we can. This mountain may be crawling with them, but they're like billy goat. You cannot do the same climbing, so I think they're beyond our reach if they are here.
All right, give me a movement check.
Yeah, I take one last look up the mountains for any sign of Yetis or anything, and then I will.
It is a barren, Yeti-less wasteland. I'm
and
sorry.
we can make it back to Saltport by midday.
Yeah, you arrive. The rest of the party's there.
I think as they
Assuming
turn
we
on-
haven't had an encounter in the past couple of days, I believe
Oh, right.
we will have finished our training.
you will have.
Yeah, I will have finished. William still has a long way to go in the path
So
of learning.
I think as the other two turn up, you drop your guard and turn and go, "Oh, you've returned." And then I smack you in the back and you go, "Ha! I got you."
I think instead that happens, and then Ferris has a moment like Tom Cruise out of The Last Samurai, where he recalls somebody saying no mind to him, and then he goes into slow-mo for this entire fight
Can
against
we
William. where you try
make
to
some
strike him in
rolls
the
to
back.
resolve this?
You try to strike Ferris in the back, and he brings his sword up to defend and starts spinning around Matrix style. And
I have
winds
no
up decking you.
interest in losing actual rolls, so
So we can all use our imagination to see
Yeah.
what actually happens.
Sure.
Sure.
how am I getting on, Neal? Still no dice.
Let me roll. Oh, I've already rolled your progress. Yeah, it's not looking good for you, dude.
When
Sorry,
you say
buddy.
it's not looking good, what do you mean?
I am going to leave you in confusion and wonderment, having to guess what I'm trying to mean by what I say.
I mean, that sounds like learning to me.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still trying though, right? I've not hit like a brick wall.
Yeah, there's no brick walls anywhere to be found. But Sean, you have succeeded in gaining weapon mastery. Go ahead and give yourself +2 to hit, +1 to damage.
Nice. It's +3. Oh yeah, you were
Yeah, on top
cumulative.
of
Total of 3 + 3.
Right.
You're still training. You're still on the hook with me.
Is this are you a saber master? Is that what it is?
+3, 7. Okay. Yes, with the saber. So I'm now at +7 to hit, +3 to damage.
Dang.
So what's the date now?
The date today is the 28th of Friday. Nope, the 28th of April. It is a Friday. It's also Arbor Day.
28th.
Oh, it's
God for
Arbor Day.
trees.
That means I'm sure my resin spell will work this time.
All right. So Grimes unhitches himself from the sled. Like, here, you can have your sled back.
What did you
Done.
find?
No Yetis. An ooze ate my pants.
Oh yeah. I just thought you two had a bit of extra fun.
Not Yarmir's ooze.
Well, that's disappointing.
We made it to the salt mine. It's still supernaturally warm.
That's
Looked like some
interesting.
kobolds or something had ransacked it. So, no more Gollum. What was his name?
Gorn.
Gorn. We also scouted north of here towards the Yeti Cave.
Oh yeah.
Looks pretty impassable. Maybe we could get the party through if we needed, but
Well, it's good to know.
moving the sled would be difficult.
If we get trapped down here again, I suppose we could give up the sled if it meant escaping. But thanks, Grimes, Yaramir. Good job not dying. I think we're just waiting out for the boat now.
How
guys
long
wanna-
do we have?
I was trying to find.
It's been a little over a week, so about
been
just over
It's been 10 days.
about 2.5 weeks is roughly, assuming Zaz doesn't decide to leave us hanging for another month again.
Yeah, and that's about right. So more training, Yaramir. Faris.
Sure, you could definitely
I will
use
gladly
it.
hit you with stick.
So I keep training. I've got.
William, perhaps you should try. We're trying to master you in a longsword. Perhaps you should try dropping the shield, and I'll drop the Kopesh.
Yeah,
Distill
all right.
it down to its basics.
You seem to have improved, so I'll take some advice.
Well,
I guess we-
when you're ready for a real challenge, you got me back now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I seem to recall challenging you a while back, and you chickened out of our little agreement.
Didn't he disarm William in like one turn?
I know
Two.
he
I think
talked
the first
about that.
round-
Personally, I didn't see it. You didn't seem keen to try and repeat the
I think-
experience with me.
Grimes takes a pot shot at Ferris, maybe catching by surprise.
With like
Disarm.
okay.
Do we actually want to roll PvP?
Sure, yeah, no, go for this.
I think I make an attack against AC
So-
0 or something.
Something like that.
Do I make okay, so it's not an opposed attack or anything?
So you make an opposed attack against AC 4. And
Okay,
you,
so-
by the rule, we should rescale
So basically
these.
I get a +4 compared to your normal attack roll.
Oh.
Yes, and I think you want to succeed by lower.
No. If I make an attack roll against AC4 and you make it against AC0, the higher roll should win, right?
It's the rules are based on THACO, so we should really go through and
Yes, which
rescale
means that
and
if
give
I'm
bonuses.
attacking against AC4, that means that I get a +4 to hit and you just make a flat attack.
Yeah, and then we go highest. Yeah. So
Yes.
take a +4. Yeah.
Oh no.
So Grimes with the sucker just like smacks the.
I'm like turning around to face. I'm like shit talking you, and I turn around to face William, and you just like hit my sword out from behind.
And then I think my offhand brings unsheathes a dagger and I don't know, like hold it up to your throat. I'm like and then resheath my dagger.
Dishonorable, Grimes. You fight like a coward.
I fight like a
spray.
I fight like a man who lives to fight another day.
Perhaps this is the part you are missing, William. Perhaps you're too honed in on honor and trying to look good for camera. Perhaps you should take a page out of my grimy friend's book.
No, I've been sparring with him. It's his withering body that's the problem.
The greatest fighter I ever knew had more honor than anyone. So I don't think it's that.
Where is he now?
Well, He's dead. But, well, it's a
Yes,
sign.
And I'm still
Alive and
here.
well. It
He's
gives more
older
of
than
a
you.
burning sensation in leg.
It's a very sad story. I'd rather not talk about it.
Here, here's your saber, Ferris.
So,
Next time,
It's like
try to
on
keep
the
a better grip
ground,
on
and
it.
Ferris just like bends over. Sit up.
It is the 28th of April. Do you have the expectation that Zaz's ship will be here in, I don't know, a month
This already
or
done?
something? I don't know. Sometime. What are you guys going to do?
I mean, if there's no Yetis, I need to train. It's all there is to do.
If they're just sitting there and training, then I'm going to attempt to create that resin spell again. That'll be what this first day is done. I'll do that until I get it. And we might have something else.
So, not Ferris, William, you
Yeah.
say that training is the only thing there is to do. How long do you have to wait until Zaz gets back, according to your calculations?
2.5-ish weeks is our
2.5 to 3 weeks, yeah.
Okay. And what are you going to do once she arrives? What's the plan?
Go back to the fort.
Yeah, and we're just
have-
getting like some basic things that we need, and then I believe we're coming back for Sleet, aren't we?
I think so. I just wanted to advance my training and Yaramir to learn some new spells, and then head back down here.
Yeah, I think we just want to send the money back and make some orders, and then
I'm
we're
out-
gonna be coming back.
So do
I'm
we
out.
even? No, go ahead.
I'm open to the idea of heading to the west side of the island, but I think it needs party approval. I think it's not a bad idea. I was thinking maybe what we could do is have Zaz or a ship sail us down the west side of the island and just stop if there's a town. So just go all the way down until we find a town and then stop.
We would have the money to hire Zaz for a while longer, theoretically, assuming she isn't conscripted to do whatever a military navy does.
And that way we're not wasting our time traversing through open tundra. If we go like 3 days and there's no town, then we can just come back. But if there's a town, then we can feasibly find something there.
That's not a bad
Sure.
idea.
If not, then I think we need to go. If we don't find anything, I think we have to come down for Sleet. I know nobody here wants to truly fight a dragon. I don't blame you, but we need to make money, and we need. Is there any other source of currency that we know exists aside from
Why,
this one stockpile?
Ferris, you surprise me. Why do you care about money?
Because I want this expedition to continue.
Really? You wouldn't rather go home? I guess you're here of your own accord, aren't you?
We're all here for one reason, and that's to make this expedition a success, and no one's staying here if we don't make any money, so that's all.
Well, speak for yourself. I will stay as long as I desire.
Yeah, well, you can die out here alone in the cold, but if everyone else
I would
leaves...
bet on me. If I were betting, man.
We can look into that possibility should the expedition be canceled, the army. But for the time being, we should look into sustaining it for as long as possible.
Hold up. Possibility. You do not understand. I do not care if you come with me or not. This is not question.
Well, sounds like Yaramir wants to stay here on his own. Sounds crazy to me, but each to his own.
So do we need to go back to the fort for anything? Could we just send the wealth with Zaz and
We do
Carry
have
on.
supplies back in the fort that we keep forgetting to bring with us that might be somewhat useful.
It's not so much we forget to bring them, so we don't really have the space. We need a second flag.
I think if you're all on board, we should try sailing down the west side of the island and see if we can come across any townships.
Sure.
But if that amounts to nothing, then we can go to Sleet.
Sure. And do we need to wait in the fort for anything? We could just go back and immediately sail out with Zaz the next day, couldn't we?
Yeah. You know, there is one open lead though. We never did find the Knoll Shaman. What was its name again?
I imagine they're somewhere closer to Sleet, down in the south. Don't most of the Knolls live down south?
Yeah, but I wonder how
They stay in
powerful it is.
I think they're in the tower, yeah. Or
You think
based
he's in
out
the
there.
tower? What was his name? Manji?
Didn't
Sounds
we
right.
kill all the Knolls in the tower?
No, there were some that were out, including this Knoll Shaman.
Do you think
Shall we
it'd be
go
worth
witch hunting?
trying? Well, I'm not sure we should really be killing the Knolls at this point, but you think he'd offer any help with Sleet?
What good does killing the Knolls bring us?
It doesn't. It brings us nothing right now.
Means less monsters that can attack us later.
Sure, but who cares about that right now? I mean, the gnolls are not a problem, and we need to be looking for currency.
Right now, the gnolls are an ally. At least, what's the word? Reluctant one. This Manji might hold more information about Sleet than anyone else. I say if we need one of the gnolls or the kobolds to lead us to its lair anyway, so why not head to the tower if heading to the west proves fruitless?
You want to face a dragon in its lair.
Well, we can't
That would be
face
the
it in
best
the
place
open air.
there is no better place to fight one, I imagine.
The only
Unless
other
you can
alternative-
sprout wings and fly.
The only alternative I could
Yarmir,
think.
can you do something about that?
Spread wings and fly. Well, you know, as in words of wise prophet I saw on TV once, you do not fly, but you fall with style. This I can do.
Look, fact remains, if we fight it anywhere where it can fly off, we've got no chance. So the only other option...
You've been carrying that ridiculous harpoon around for months. Maybe now's the time to use it.
The rope's only 20 feet long, but maybe.
William Strong, he's not that strong, Grimes. Get your head straight.
But what about, I mean, if we really wanted to take our time, we might be able to order a ballista from the mainland.
You're gonna haul a ballista around on a sled?
No, well, we could sail it down to the edge of the mountain and then just walk it to the tower.
Do you honestly think
Clearly
Sleet would just sit by as we build a siege weapon near his lair? And do you think that we'd
don't think
be
it
able to
knows.
get it into position?
I don't think it knows what a siege weapon is.
Okay, let's suppose you're a dragon. You live in isolation. You don't know what this technology is. We'll just assume that's the case. Strange inhabitants start moving into your land and building strange devices you have no knowledge of.
Yeah.
What is your course of action?
Attack us. But
Most
we're in the
likely.
tower. If it attacks us in the tower, landing to do so, then we've achieved what we set
And then
out.
when we actually fight it, it just flies away.
And we go back in the tower.
The tower currently owned by gnolls.
No, not that tower. The fort pass.
The ballista needs to be built outside to be effective against Sleet, and Sleet is probably going to destroy it before it ever reaches completion.
All right, so it's not a tier 1 idea, but the alternative is to fight in its lair, unless you can think of something else. How else do you ground a dragon?
Kill it.
That does work. Cripple its wings somehow.
Maybe. But if it's
Have our friend
outside,
Yarmir grab it with that earthen hand of his.
Mm,
it would be nice.
there is actually a specific spell for this in classic Dungeons and Dragons. This game I played with daughter back in the day. I don't have that particular spell.
Well, maybe you could learn it.
Are you able to tattoo more tattoos onto yourself?
What? What
Do
tattoos
you
got to do
think
with
that I
this?
put these on myself?
Who? Did somebody else? Can you not mimic their work?
No, no one has ever touched my skin with needle.
Oh. Ferris kind of like looks. He has like a renewed interest in your tattoos and says, "Huh. That's interesting. Mine did. Not quite sure how else you could do a tattoo."
What do you mean no one switched you with a needle, and how did you get them?
That is question for sages and scholars. I have been poked and prodded and needled by many.
What, you chosen by the gods, are you?
That is what people thought, but it seems less and less likely.
The gods don't care about us.
The gods care about me. They might not care about you.
Yes, they care so much about you, they cursed you to this god's forsaken continent. While your wife is thousands of miles away, warm and comfortable.
You leave my wife out of this, Faris.
Perhaps seeking a younger man at this point.
Oh, you take that back.
And now PvP starts.
All right, well then, I think we're gonna take a break with that, and we'll see you guys on the other side with some more Frozen Frontier. Bye-bye.